Eat Greater Des Moines is a nonprofit that has been in Des Moines for almost 10 years, and our focus and work has really been on how can we make our food system work better for everybody. There are some major players I think that people recognize. We have the food bank network, we have food pantries, we also have congregate meal sites, and then we also have a lot of programs like SNAP, WIC, and free and reduced school lunch programs that are also trying to fill some of those food gaps. None of these programs all operate the exact same way, and I think that's where a lot of confusion has been coming in about what's possible within those spaces. So just for clarity reasons, food banks, when we're talking about food banks, consider those warehouses. Food banks are an incredibly important part of the emergency food system because they're where large quantities of food are able to get to, and then those food banks are able to distribute the food through their partner network. Their partner networks are usually food pantries and congregate meal sites, and those are all doing important work. I think what's getting missed most recently is sometimes the nuances between where is food coming from and where could food go. So food banks are generally working within commodity food and large quantities that are coming from the federal government and large businesses that are sending pallets of food. That food, no one food pantry can usually use that much, so it's really valuable to have a food bank to be able to purchase at cost food to serve in your food pantry. That does play a very important role. I think the part that's getting confused is where food recovery comes in. And that's really a part that Eat Greater Des Moines has worked to fill. So food recovery or food rescue is really just capturing all of the food that's still edible but not sellable from where it is and getting where it could go. That could be anywhere. Anywhere there's food, there's a food rescue opportunity. So top of mind, I think people think of catering events or parties where you've ordered food and trying to figure out what to do with the extras. And that's definitely a piece of food recovery. But there's also a huge network of food recovery possibilities within the grocery stores and convenience stores, corporate cafeterias, schools. In food recovery, I think we're all recognizing there's a lot of moving pieces. We have food donors who have the food, but maybe don't have the capacity to store it for long periods of time or the capacity to deliver it to where it could go. At the same time, we have a large group of organizations that can use that food. That does include food banks, that does include food pantries, but that also includes partners that Eat Greater Des Moines works with that sit outside of those traditional circles that are also doing important work. That includes schools, faith-based organizations, churches, and community refrigerators. So while they might not operate as a traditional food pantry, the work they're doing is still incredibly important in getting food to people. And I think the other piece to keep in mind with food recovery is what we're talking about is highly perishable food that needs to move quickly. This food doesn't have the opportunity or the time to go into a traditional food banking model warehouse where it needs to get into the system, get into inventory, get ordered, and get out. That's really where our food rescue efforts, where food is picked up directly from where the food is and delivered directly to where it can be eaten within the next 4 to 24 hours, is really important, and that's a gap that the current emergency food system has not been able to address.